On ne demande pas aux gens de faire de grandes choses. Faites ce que vous êtes capable de le faire, mais faites-le avec beaucoup de cœur. Une phrase que de temps en temps je dis, mettez votre cœur au bout des doigts. Et en faisant ça, eh bien, peu à peu, vous rentrerez dans une démarche.
I have grown in ways that I had no idea that I would grow, and I'm very, very grateful for the opportunity.
Il fulcro, la spinta, il motore che porta avanti l'ordine sta nei professi.
We were religious knights fighting battles. The battles we have to fight today are very different ones.
La vocation religieuse est un appel d'abord intime du Seigneur, c'est un appel personnel.
It is really the deepest way in which you can consecrate your whole life to the works of the order.
S'il n'y a plus de prophets, nous ne sommes plus un ordre religieux, mais simplement un organisme d'assistance, un peu plus ancien que les autres, mais qui n'aura plus son identité religieuse essentielle.
Souvent, on a parlé de l'ordre en disant que c'est très compliqué. Il y a des catégories, il y a des grades, c'est très compliqué en fin de compte pour faire quelque chose qui est relativement simple, qui est celui de tendre la main à celui qui souffre.
Et ce qui m'impressionne dans l'ordre de Malte, c'est comment une intuition très ancienne, celle d'un groupe religieux auquel se rajoutent des gens qui ont des appartenances diverses, mais tous centrés sur la même spiritualité et le même engagement. Les prophètes de l'ordre, c'est évidemment l'âme de l'ordre. Et il est capital qu'on continue à avoir une vraie pastorale des vocations, parce que c'est les religieux qui donnent sens à l'ensemble et qui permettent de communier au charisme de l'ordre.
Stets ein Professritter sein, die Großprioren ebenfalls. Des Weiteren auch die Mehrzahl der Mitglieder des Souveränen Rates müssen Professritter sein. Also hier ist die Kerngewalt und die Kernverwaltung liegt in den Händen der Professritter. Der Souveräne Rat ist die Ordensregierung, die deshalb so bedeutend ist, weil sie alle Entscheidungen trifft. Sie ist im Grunde genommen auch der Ministerrat sozusagen. Und meine Aufgabe ist, dass ich doch schaue, dass man die Bestimmungen unseres Kodex, unserer Verfassung und des Ordensrechtes samt den diversen Statuten, die bestehen, einhält.
L'ordine nasce per l'intuizione di un gruppo di fratelli che decidono di fare vita comune, di esprimere il voto di povertà, castità, obbedienza e di mettersi al servizio dei malati a Gerusalemme. Questa è la storia di 900 anni. Al cuore dell'ordine vedo senz'altro la comunità dei cavalieri professi, dei cavalieri di giustizia.
When the First Crusade captured Jerusalem, they found an elderly monk, and he had decided to look after sick pilgrims. Not only pilgrims, but also sick people in general. The Crusaders were basically called professional soldiers, but they were inspired by this man. They joined him and they started looking after the sick. And so that's how they gained their sort of dual character, if you like. After Palestine, the order went to Rhodes, captured Rhodes. Then they were thrown out of Rhodes by the Turks. They went to Malta. They were part of course, the famous Great Siege of 1565. That went on until Napoleon arrived on his way to invade Egypt. And after that, the order wandered around for a short period and then settled here in Rome. In 1113, the papal bull Pie Postulatio Voluntatis. That was published by Pope Paschal II. It actually records the order, and it then gives the order various privileges, including granting it sovereignty. And that's the original document upon which the sovereignty of the order is based. We have a close relationship with the Vatican, and that's very important. We work very closely with them in various areas. The Holy Father appoints a Cardinal Patronus to the order, who is his representative. He's the person who speaks directly to me on behalf of the Holy Father. Also, he appoints a prelate of the order, who is our own bishop, responsible again to discuss with me the spiritual side of things. And he's also responsible for the 800 chaplains we have.
Più profondo e più bello.
Je m'appelle Emmanuel Rousseau, je suis chevalier prophet dans l'ordre de Saint-Jean de Jérusalem, de Rhodes et de Malte, et j'ai 45 ans et je travaille aux Archives nationales où nous nous trouvons actuellement. L'ordre de Malte n'a jamais été astreint à la vie communautaire, donc les religieux travaillent. Ma vie se divise en 3 grandes parties. Tout d'abord, ma vie professionnelle, et donc cela m'occupe un peu plus de 8 heures par jour, tous les jours. Le rôle d'un archiviste, c'est d'être le médiateur entre un document qui contient des informations qui sont parfois difficiles à comprendre, et puis être médiateur avec un chercheur qui recherche une information et de pouvoir expliquer les documents. Et bien, la vie religieuse, c'est un peu la même chose aussi. Par notre exemple, par notre vie cachée, en Jésus-Christ, nous pouvons aussi expliquer ce qu'était le Seigneur Jésus, pauvre, chaste et obéissant. En même temps, la vie religieuse repose sur un grand principe qui est celui de la régularité et de la régularité dans la prière. Donc il y a un temps de prière le matin, un temps de prière en fin d'après-midi, donc les laudes, les vêpres, et puis le plus souvent possible aussi la messe. Et le troisième pilier sur lequel s'appuie la vie d'un religieux dans l'ordre de Malte, eh bien, c'est bien entendu la participation aux œuvres en faveur des pauvres et des malades.
Notre engagement vis-à-vis de cette personne, c'est essayer d'être une présence qui va essayer de répondre au désarroi dans lequel il se trouve. Ce désarroi, ça peut être juste de tenir une main pour faire face à une solitude. Et c'est pourquoi je pense que le rôle des prophètes est important, c'est qu'ils doivent être quelque part des repères, des lumières sur notre chemin.
Lord is hugely significant to us. It gives us the opportunity to do the work which we should be doing, and it's also a great sort of focus for people's devotion.
Guided by the Holy Spirit.
Es ist, muss ich sagen, eine innerliche Bereicherung, wenn man also dann nach Lourdes fährt und dort wieder mal neben den vorgeschriebenen Exerzitien jährlich eben auch eine Pilgerfahrt macht mit einer größeren und näheren Dedikation an die Mutter Gottes.
Because the order looks after ill people and sick people, disabled people and so forth and so on, there is a very natural connection between the one and the other. Each year we take anywhere between about 6,000 and about 12,000 people It's a lot of people every year. It's a major effort. One of the biggest pilgrimages of the year there.
Lourdes bedeutet für den Malteserorden sehr viel. Es ist, möchte ich sagen, der Kern der karitativen Aufgaben gegenüber all den kranken Behinderten.
L'identité de l'ordre, c'est le service des pauvres, c'est une fraternité, même si les prophètes ne vivent pas en commun, ils sont fratres, on les appelle fra. C'est vraiment une dimension essentielle de l'ordre, mais qui se consacre, c'est-à-dire qu'ils sont liés entre eux et liés à leur vocation par des vœux religieux. C'est ainsi que l'ordre a compris son identité au XIIe siècle, aux origines, 900 ans d'expérience de ce qu'est une vie religieuse aux frontières du monde, au contact avec le monde. Et ça, c'est très intéressant, très moderne.
My name is Jose Lopez. I come from the city of Gonzales in the sunny state of California, the Western Association. I was born in Mexico, in the state of Guanajuato. Just born there, but grew up in California. My family is in the farming business. During the summers, I grew up harvesting tomatoes, garlic, asparagus, all that wonderful food we enjoy today. The Order of Malta in my location has a few projects that they run, and the location president invited me to participate along with my pastor. Soon after that, I was invited to become a Knight of the Order of Malta, and here I am today.
The hours in the day are the hardest. Putting the hours in. 16 hours. Getting through the day, pretty much. Yeah. I mean, you'll sleep for 8, which means you've 16 hours of mostly not knowing where you're going to sleep that night.
Yeah. Well, I think being professed is about deepening your involvement with the order and deepening your commitment to our lords, the sick and the poor. I think it's going to be a deepening of that, and it's not just an abstract or superficial or religious engagement. This is a real hands-on talking to people and trying to help them get on the road or on the path back to some sort of normality in their lives.
Yeah. It's just a waiting game for me, unfortunately, and I just have to keep on waiting because there's so many people homeless, what can you do about it? All you can do is just keep trying and just keep your chin up. But it is tough. It is tough.
I teach history of art and design at the National College of Art and Design in Dublin, which is the main art and design college in Ireland. So you've got this unprimed canvas. On the canvas then there's a sort of gesso, a type of kind of plaster. Too often in the Order of Malta it's characterised by a separation out between the religious works of the order and then the hospitaller works, and they're seen as separate. That's to misunderstand the Order of Malta. The Order of Malta is like a piece of architecture with two columns, Tuitio Fidei and Obsequium Pauperum, joined by the arch.
I saw a good friend who is a Knight of Malta, and I said, I've been approached about joining the order, but I'm not worthy, and his response really set off the whole theme, and he said, none of us are worthy, and that's why we work so hard at what we do for the order.
The ability to be in the world and continue not only my professional career, but also being of service to the poor and the sick, and be able to do it in my own community, I think this is an opportunity that I've been waiting for. I'm 32, so fairly young, I think, compared to the other professed members of the order. I see a lot of wisdom and a lot of history, so to be able to see them, interact with them, hear their story, for them to hear my story, and and share. You know, I think that's an important witness for other men that are considering profess.
The vocation of the professed is the order's best kept secret. In some places, Knights of Justice are very prominent and people know who they are and know something about them. In other places, there are no Knights of Justice at all. There are many Knights of Justice in countries around the world now, and very soon we will have the joy of attending the solemn profession of Fra Paul Caffrey in Dublin. And he will be the first knight in Ireland to have made solemn profession since the Reformation.
Well, the procession will come in this way, be led up by the banners, the sword, and the Grand Master will be first in the procession. So are you feeling a bit nervous?
A little bit.
You'll be able to focus on the event itself and the spiritual significance of your final profession.
I suppose the end of 5 years.
5 years of intense preparation and anticipation.
Steps to becoming a professed knight, there are 4 of them. Firstly, nearly all the candidates enter the period of aspirancy, which is really just a stage of initial discernment and inquiry. Then he might move to become a novice when he is clothed with the habit of the order and his formation continues. After that, he will enter the period of temporary or simple vows, which have to last a minimum of 3 years. After 3 years, the knight in simple vows would be allowed to make his solemn profession. And this means that he is now in vows that will be binding for the rest of his life.
Receive this sword in the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen. Use it to guard your own person, to defend the Church, and to confound the enemies of the cross of Christ and the Christian faith.
When I first found out about the Order of Malta, I did not know we had professed in the order. I had been in the seminary thinking that I had a priestly vocation, and I discerned that it was not the vocation for me. But then this opportunity with the profess in the Order of Malta opened up, and I said, wow, maybe this is a godsend for me to be able to share my gifts, my talents with the Order of Malta and those that are in need of service. I think one of the keys for any vocation is to always have fun and you live the life with joy. And I hope that that's what I can bring to.
Nous sommes une vieille machine qui a 900 ans, mais je pense que cette vieille machine a encore son utilité et que la vocation de religieux prophets au sein de l'Ordre de Malte est une vocation profondément moderne. Le message de l'Évangile est moderne et le service des pauvres et des malades est quelque chose de moderne. Nous découvrons Dieu à travers les autres, c'est ce qui fait l'essence même de la charité.
Et j'ai expliqué à mes amis comme quoi que lorsque j'étais à Ottawa, vous étiez mon premier professeur de philosophie au collège dominicain à Ottawa.
The gift of yourself and receiving from God. Whatever it can do, whatever it can give to my friends and for all strangers, for the poor, you know, it's reaching me. So in few words, it's about give yourself and to receive in return.
Estive casado 42 anos, 4 filhos, 9 netos, enfim, uma grande família que Deus me deu. Esta segunda fase da vida é como se fosse um segundo casamento. Um casamento é sempre um casamento para sempre. O primeiro terminou porque Deus quis que assim terminasse. Portanto, Deus, com certeza, que quis que houvesse este segundo casamento e uma continuidade na vida.
Les religieux prononcent donc le vœu de pauvreté, le vœu de chasteté et le vœu d'obéissance.
I promise that with all my strength and at all times I shall apply myself to the defense of the Church and the faith.
During the ceremony, the knight is given his sword because he is to defend the rights of the Church and the rights of the poor.
Je crois que le vœu de pauvreté, c'est apprendre à se détacher des biens de ce monde et en tout cas à ne pas avoir l'envie des biens de ce monde pour les biens de ce monde.
These spurs, in accordance with their true purpose, are worn on the lowest part of the body, that is the feet, as a reminder that you should hold God always in contempt and never allow any greed or avarice to corrupt you throughout your life.
Just as we use spurs to quicken the vigor of a horse, so the knight has to be vigorous in his service of God and service to the order.
Qui dit chasteté pense immédiatement à vie sexuelle. Mais ça, nous rapproche vraiment du Seigneur Jésus, dans ce sens qu'il nous demande, ce vœu de chasteté, d'avoir une pauvreté, cette fois-ci, qui vise à ne pas posséder les autres, à ne pas posséder les autres spirituellement, à ne pas posséder les autres par une domination intellectuelle ou bien par une domination affective.
He makes his solemn vows, and once again he is clothed with the habit, which represents the camel's hair worn by our patron St. John the Baptist. The stola is given to a professed knight, and the words of the ceremony say that we are putting on the yoke of Christ, which is never burdensome to those who carry it.
Et enfin, l'obéissance. C'est sans doute le vœu le plus difficile qui soit. C'est de savoir se soumettre en toute chose à la volonté du supérieur, clairement exprimée comme étant celle du supérieur et donc demandant l'obéissance. Donc les trois vœux organisés, pauvreté, chasteté, obéissance, nous conforment, je dirais, à Jésus-Christ. Ils forment ce qu'on appelle la vertu de religion, c'est-à-dire ce qui nous relie à Dieu, comme un livre comme cela peut être relié, avec une reliure.
Un po' mi devo organizzare da solo, i momenti di preghiera, di meditazione e riflessione.
Obedience really means the ability and the sense to listen, and I'll do whatever I'm told to do.
The obligations, I thought that was going to be tough. And if I don't have time to do it, I feel really deprived. My day is somehow out of balance.
You have to have a sense of poverty because you're earning a living, but you don't buy the latest, greatest, and best when something else will be just as good to serve the purpose.
When I made the decision to go for justice, I had complete peace of mind. It was the first proper night's sleep I'd had, going to bed and not worrying about it for 6 months.
It's important to be visible, and it's important to let people know that I'm just like them, that I'm willing to stand shoulder to shoulder in the soup kitchen and sweat, and that's the joy.
Just begin the journey. It could be long. Sometimes there are challenges that are put up, but then again, there is no final destination.
Chaque jour, chaque matin, en se réveillant, on doit avoir le courage, jusqu'à la fin de sa vie, de reprononcer ses vœux et de se reposer la question à chaque instant de savoir pourquoi on le fait.
We want more people to know about the vocation of a Knight of Justice so that it's no longer the Order's best kept secret.
Like every process, it's the beginning of something else. It's the beginning of his life dedicated to Christ. It's his life dedicated to the order.